Do narcissists know they hurt you? Short answer, yes. Long answer, not the way you think, and not in the way that will bring you any peace. And you're probably here because you're tired of trying to figure it out. You're tired of wondering, do they even realize what they've done or what they're doing? You're tired of trying to make sense of someone who refuses to acknowledge your pain. And that makes you question yourself, makes you replay everything in your mind. You want to believe that they must know, because if they knew, maybe they'd change. Maybe they'd apologize. Maybe they'd finally get it and stop and go for help or something. You want to know if you're worth a damn in their eyes. And for your survival, you have to believe that somehow you are, which is absolutely normal. So let's unpack it all. Narcissism isn't just someone who loves their reflection or takes too many selfies. It's a personality disorder. It's a deep black hole where empathy should live, but doesn't. A narcissist walks through life needing constant admiration like oxygen. They have to be seen as superior, the smartest, the most victimized, the most misunderstood, whatever it takes to feed that fragile ego. And God forbid that you challenge their image, even slightly, because to them, reality doesn't matter. Image is reality. They don't see you as a person. They use you as a mirror that's only useful when it reflects back exactly what they want to see. So when you're pleased with them or impressed by them, that's a clean mirror for them. And when you stop doing that, when you show pain, disappointment, boundaries, they don't feel bad for you. They feel attacked. You're ruining their mirror. Because in their warped world, your pain is an inconvenience to their ego. Can they feel remorse? Maybe, but it isn't the type of remorse that they might lose the love of their life here. It's more of a flicker of, oh no, I might lose control over them. But that's not empathy. That's fear of losing their supply. It's not about your pain. It's about their loss of access. And what do they usually do instead? They flip it. Suddenly you're the villain. You're too sensitive. They didn't lie, you misunderstood. They didn't yell, you provoked them. They didn't ghost you. They just needed space from your negativity. Denial, blame shifting, gaslighting. That's their native language. And if you dare call them out, rage. Not sadness, not reflection, not, oh God, I hurt you, but rage. Because now you're a threat to the illusion that they've built. That's why it feels so backwards. You open up and say, you hurt me. And they respond like you backstabbed them. A narcissist doesn't see you as a whole human being. They don't bond like you do. They don't love like you do. What they care about is control, image, and supply. And we talk about control and supply, but image is a huge reason that they control. If you have a respectable job, that reflects well on them. If you have a nice home, that reflects on them. If you're popular somehow, that makes them look good also. Or if you're pretty or handsome, and the list goes on. As per supply, supply to them can be a place to stay because they really can't take care of themselves. Supply can also be that you own a home that they can grow pod in. They're incredibly exploitative. Supply is also the attention that they can get from you. Someone deemed them important enough to pay their way or cook and clean for them. But there isn't going to be any attention thrown back your way. You'll give them what they need, and they're just going to turn around and completely deny you of any needs that you might have. Like perhaps maybe spending 5 minutes with you in the evening. I guess that's too much to ask. Then if you say anything about that, well, you know how that goes. They feed off attention, good or bad. And if it's bad, it's only bad for you, because the argument that you're having and trying to settle is the argument that they're continuing to ignite as they indulge in watching you squirm. They indulge in the power that it gives them. So while your goal is to come to an understanding and move towards a loving connection, their goal is to win the game, to one up you. You don't have the same goals. You've become the enemy up for battle. You're the opposition. It has nothing to do with coming to a common ground. It's about winning. Why do you think that they're always using word salad on you? They need to feel powerful. They need to feel special. They need to feel worshipped. But underneath that arrogant mask, there's a terrified, fragile ego. That's the part that they're never going to let you see. Now you might think, but they cried once, or they said they didn't mean to hurt me. Maybe they only meant it in that moment. But empathy for them is fleeting. It shows up only when their world is crumbling, only when they feel that they're losing grip on you. But if you expect a narcissist to consistently care about your emotional pain, you're asking someone who sees your feelings as a threat to their power to value them. That's not going to happen. To a narcissist, your emotions are leverage or liabilities. That's it. This messes with your head. You end up wondering if you were the one who overreacted, or you were the one who looked angry when they insulted you the day before and you were passive aggressive. You should have been more mature and said something like, "Can we talk about what happened yesterday? Are you kidding? What choice do you have? You can't ever state your feelings because you know all too well where that's going to leave." Passive aggressive is not you, that's survival. Passive aggressive is them punishing you for something you said that half the time you didn't know you said or intended on harm. And now they cancel plans that you had with a bloody smile on their face. That's passive aggressive. Your inability to shut up and smile lovingly after being intentionally attacked, aka abused, makes you 1000% normal. You're reacting to someone who refuses to validate your pain. It's betrayal at the most intimate level because you thought that they cared somehow. You thought that they had a conscience, a heart, but instead you're met with coldness or worse, manipulation. What do you think that's doing to you? That breaks something inside of you. It's emotional disorientation. Emotional disorientation in the context of narcissistic abuse is the feeling of being psychologically scrambled, confused, off center, unable to trust your perceptions, and emotionally unstable as a direct result of being manipulated and invalidated repeatedly by a narcissist. It's a trauma response caused by ongoing emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and psychological invalidation. When a narcissist distorts your reality, telling you what you feel isn't real, flipping situations to make you the villain, or love bombing and devaluing you on a loop, your emotional compass starts to spin. You begin to lose touch with what's true, what's safe, and who you are. It feels confusing. You constantly second guess yourself. Did that really happen like I remember? What did I do? Did I say something wrong? How do I get him to see clearly? Then there's guilt for no reason. You feel bad when you've done nothing wrong. You end up with a foggy mind. You can't think straight. It's hard to focus or make decisions. The gaslighting. They deny your reality so often that you start doing it too. You gaslight your own self. Hot and cold treatment. You're praised one moment, punished the next. It's destabilizing. Emotional withholding. They go silent or withdraw love until you're desperate for their approval. Projection and blame. They accuse you of what they're doing, and it leaves you disoriented. Triangulation, bringing in others to confuse you further or make you doubt your worth. So do they know that they're hurting you? Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. And it's a hard pill to swallow because we rationalize their behavior for our own survival. Let me explain that one. When you're in a relationship with a narcissist, especially over time, your brain tries to make sense of the chaos. Not because you're weak or naive here, but because your survival depends on it. The brain's primary job is to keep you safe, not necessarily to see the truth right away. So when you're being neglected, criticized, gaslit, or emotionally manipulated, your nervous system goes into survival mode. You can't physically run. You can't fight back without consequences. So your brain turns inward and it starts rationalizing. It tells you they're just stressed. I shouldn't have pushed their buttons. They love me. They just have a hard time showing it. They can't help it. They had a bad childhood. They didn't mean it that way. And these are not just thoughts. They're defense mechanisms. They're your brain's way of softening the blow so that you can cope with staying in an environment that feels unsafe emotionally, mentally, or even physically. This is called cognitive dissonance. When two opposing realities, how they treat you versus what you believe about them, are too painful to hold at once. So your brain chooses the version that feels safer, even if it means distorting the truth. Rationalizing becomes a form of emotional anesthesia, if you will. It numbs the reality because seeing it clearly might mean that you have to do something about it. Leave, set boundaries, face the grief. And that's scary, especially when you've been programmed to believe things like you aren't enough for people to want to stay. The fact is that rationalizing protects you until it starts trapping you. Because what once helped you survive now keeps you stuck. Difficulty trusting people or yourself, difficulty making decisions, difficulty acting on the decisions that you know are the right decisions to make. You also have chronic anxiety, depression, hypervigilance, emotional flashbacks, or shutdown. Feeling like you're always walking on eggshells even after the narcissist is gone. And a shattered sense of self. In short, emotional disorientation is what happens when your emotional GPS has been tampered with over and over by someone who wants control, not connection. Let me repeat that. Control, not connection. It's not a weakness or a flaw in you. It's a deliberate effect of narcissistic abuse. So do they know that they hurt you? They not only know, it is intentional. You're not too sensitive. You're not stupid. You're not unlovable. You've been trying to get someone without empathy to understand empathy. That's like begging a shark not to bite. It's not going to work. And it's not your fault. It's akin to ask someone without fingers to pick up a needle. They don't have empathy. They are cold, calculated beings out for self and self only. And if you stay, if you keep hoping that this time they're going to get it, this time that they'll change, you're right back in the cycle. They might apologize, cry, promise, but they don't change because narcissistic apologies are just tools to reset the game. It's not remorse. It is a reset button. They say what you want to hear so you'll stay just long enough for the next round. And every time you forgive, every time you go back, they learn that they can do it again, that your pain doesn't cost them anything. That's why boundaries don't work. When you forgive them, they don't see it as opening up your big heart to give them another chance. They see it as permission to keep doing the very thing that you want them to stop doing. That's why boundaries with them are not optional. They are survival. They're to protect you. That's why protecting your peace isn't just a slogan. It is a lifeline. You don't owe them another conversation. You don't owe them proof that they hurt you because deep down, they do know. They just don't care enough to stop. So if you're sitting there still hoping for acknowledgement, still hoping for that one moment where they're finally going to get it, stop. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You deserve better than someone who can only care when they're losing you. Let them sit in their illusion. You start building a life rooted in reality. One where your pain is valid. One where you don't have to beg to be seen. And that's where healing begins. So I leave you with that, and hopefully we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.